In Freespoke, our mission is to show you all the perspectives. What's interesting is the truth that they tell has really shaped the life that we live. So when you allow that one-sided truth to take hold, it impacts how you go about in your community, what your kids are faced with. There may be a desire on the right to suppress some information and desire on the left to suppress some information, which is why you have to have a product that's dedicated to showing both.
Hello, and welcome to the Liberty Spenders podcast. We are Kurt and Kristen Luthart, your hosts and co-founders of the Prosper Group, an agency that's helped raise over $500 million and help elect over 100 members of Congress, 15 governors, 15 U.S. senators, and 1 president. Now, business owners, what if you could exponentially grow your business by tapping into a lucrative and engaged audience of 76.5 million people that we call Liberty Spenders? These Americans spend $5 trillion a year, and they're motivated to buy from businesses and brands that share their values. If you want to learn more about that, you can get access to our new best-selling book at libertyspenders.com/free.
Joining us today is Kristin Jackson, co-founder and CEO of Freespoke, an AI search engine, which I use, that prioritizes privacy, uncensored views, and porn-free experience. With a Georgetown master's, she led a House Foreign Affairs subcommittee.
Don't mess with her.
Yes, and founded a news outlet in 2018 focused on local economic stories. She worked in Venezuela, where she sparked a passion for informed citizens. Formerly a director at DCI Group, Kristen serves on the Chicago Hope Academy's board. Let's explore her vision for liberty and truth. Kristen, my second favorite Kristen in the world. Welcome.
Welcome.
I'll take it. Great to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. I mean, I was just saying before you got on, I keep hearing about what you are doing and what Freespoke is doing. It seems to get a lot of people excited about the vision, but I also think there's probably a lot of people who are listening in who have not come across Freespoke yet.
Yes, yet.
So
until today.
Let's start. Paint a little picture of what it's all about and how it's shaking things up.
So Freespoke is, if you're just learning what we are, Freespoke is the only AI search tool that's delivering balanced, independent results with uncompromising privacy and a pornography-free commitment. So what that really means is when you come into Freespoke, it's an AI search tool. So we are not the Google of the past, we're the ChatGPT of the future. And when you come across information and you're thinking, is this true? Like, did the US government really just invest in a private company, Intel? Like, is that true? What is happening there? Or are baby carrots actually soaked in chlorine like I just read on Instagram? Is that true? You can look that up in Freespoke and it will give you the balanced perspective from both sides, the mainstream and the non-mainstream, the independent voices from podcasts, the right-leaning perspective and the left-leaning perspective. And you leave feeling like you have that full grounding, that full truth to build upon.
Yeah, and I have gotten so excited about this, even more so as I've seen how like Google results have shifted, how I have noticed my own behavior with ChatGPT and other AI tools where I'm now acting like it's a search engine, right? And there's so much power. And so what I think is fascinating is for anybody listening, if you're thinking about how that shift is occurring, right? Where Google is now like giving you the answer and like they're not even letting you. I mean, they're kind of discouraging you from even seeing the different site results and what those things are. And Freespoke has that ability to take that user behavior, but show you all the different balanced views. So you're still not getting your information decided for you. And I just think that's tremendous because I think, user behavior is shifting. And so the time is ripe to still continue to give that balanced view. If you're visualizing this, what I love is that the results are tagged, right? So maybe you can walk through that and how that helps people cut through the noise and understand kind of the bias of what they might be reading.
Yeah. And as you try to relate to this and picture it, you may relate to this story. Early on in early 2020, we were doing focus groups and we went around the United States. This was a mother in Michigan that kind of built this story, this example. The facilitator was talking to a group of people and saying, I don't know what to trust. I want information I can trust. I don't know what to trust. And the facilitator said, well, when you have found information you trust, what did you do? And the groups consistently said, I read something from the left and something from the right. And where there's overlap, I know I can trust that. So that is what you are finding in Freespoke, that we are labeling the publisher level right-leaning, more middle of the road, or left-leaning. And on any story, as you go through the news feed or anything you're searching for, you're going to find both sides, and you can click an explore perspectives button where we do that work for you. We take those consensus facts we've pulled from all the articles, all different viewpoints and podcasts, pull those consensus facts forward for you so you can see that, and then show you those division perspectives so you can see where it breaks down. That the mother in Michigan had said, I woke up one morning and I read the news that the United States had just executed a strike against Iranian General Soleimani. And I thought, oh my gosh, are we going into World War III? And I read one article, and halfway through the article, I could tell it was biased. And so I didn't have time to read anymore. I ushered my kids out to school, and I felt this lack of confidence that I truly understood what was happening. And so that's what this feature is working to solve for, to build that confidence. You can quickly see the full picture and move on.
I love that. I think of it like the truth filter. Because again, you can kind of go through each sides and then dive into it. That's awesome.
Absolutely. I think you have the possibility that you're solving a problem that we know is coming, which is our AI overlords just telling us their viewpoint of the world.
Yes.
Which is a serious a thing. And we don't need Skynet for that to be a problem. Because now, like Kristen described, if you're searching in another search engine, the first result is their some sort of AI generated thing. And we all know that people tend to look only at the first thing they see there. They don't scroll down. People don't look through 20 options. They look at those top options. And so what are we getting? We're getting whatever AI invented.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, it's like worse, because at least before you could see the different websites and then decide what you wanted to click on. Now it's like, here is this, answer that we're deciding to give you. And you're just turning your brain off to even go through and read and make that determination for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, as a user, so you've now talked about the cool stuff with the labeling, but what I like the most is it gives me search results from podcasts.
Yes.
Which no one else does, to my knowledge. I don't get that when I search on Google or anything else. And the only bad thing about it is it often sends me down the rabbit hole of some podcast episode but it's
as long as it's Liberty Spenders rabbit holes, right? We'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was searching for just the other day. I was searching for a person I was trying to learn more about, and it took me to a podcast, and I ended up listening to like a true crime podcast about church bombings, which I was like, what? How did I get here?
It can be really valuable for searching people and understanding if they've been on podcasts or people have covered them on podcasts. You get really quality insight.
Well, I thought it just took me a lot deeper. Right. And so I like that part of it. And I think that's one of the unique things.
The trend that we're seeing there, the All In podcast, I think, was saying this recently, that during this last presidential cycle, people weren't trusting traditional media for a lot of the information gathering. They were going to podcasts. So that's why we've surfaced that. If you're looking for the truth, you're looking to have that full perspective, you need those experts, right? Like these podcasters really have experts on who are experts in their field. And then you get that insight. You can bop around and see a few expert perspectives.
Yeah.
And the key, why it's helpful possibly, Kurt, is that it's not just a full podcast. It's turned to the moment in the podcast that's talking about what you just asked or searched for. So it allows you to go specific, learn about it, open it up, and go chapter by chapter, but it's a quick answer.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing.
I was going to say, well, you save time on the front end, and then you're probably putting it in on the back end as you start consuming all the...
Well, I mean, it's quality. I mean, it's quality stuff I want to look at, right?
Yeah.
So that's the key.
It's not time on the back end trying to navigate, like, what is this article? Who wrote it? Where's this coming from? It's the quality insight.
Hey, business owners, did you know there's 76.5 million faith-based and conservative consumers that are looking to support brands that align with their values?
That's a $5 trillion opportunity, and if you're not tapping into it, you're leaving money on the table. Our new book, Liberty Spenders, is your ultimate guide to reaching this influential audience using conviction-driven marketing.
That's right. We break down real-world strategies that successful brands are using right now to connect with this audience authentically, build trust, and drive long-term business growth.
So if you're truly serious about standing out in today's crowded market, grab your copy today on Amazon or visit libertyspenders.com. And don't miss out on this revolutionary strategy called conviction-driven marketing.
You touched on this at the beginning in the description of it too, is the porn-free element of it. And so I really would love to hear more perspective about why that is so important, why you're emphasizing that, and what does that really mean when you're talking about, users using this? Because you've got all kinds of information, I know, about how this is permeating people's experiences.
And I want to step back on this one and really relate to your audience, because I was a person who thought, why are we talking about pornography? We're building a search engine, back in 2019 to compete with Google. We're taking on a giant. So my business partner said, Todd Ricketts, he said, let's just not show pornography. And I said, really? You want us to take on the porn industry while we're taking on the largest tech giant? Like, what? Why would we do this? And to be fully transparent, I thought, I don't think that's, a profession I would want to go into, or maybe, people I loved, but I think that's better solved for at the church level or community level or family level. I'm not sure government or business has a role to play here. So if anybody is listening, thinking something similar, online pornography is the third most common form of sex trafficking. So that's from the National Human Trafficking Hotline. These are girls calling in saying, hey, I'm being trafficked. I need help. And when they understand where that trafficking is occurring, it's occurring through pornography. So that was the first knowledge I had, that oftentimes these women are not choosing to be in that setting. And then you learn 1 out of 5 pornographic images is of a child. So what happens, as I have been researching, is oftentimes young individuals, young men, are coming across pornography, young ages, and their prefrontal cortex hasn't fully formed yet. And as pornography is forming the contours of your endorphins in your brain and how you understand that behavior. And if you're somebody who gets addicted in that setting, it's not everybody, but a large percentage of people are finding themselves addicted, then pornography channels are taking you into a more extreme setting. And one of those more extreme paths is child pornography. And it's a huge problem. So those are a couple data points that really changed my understanding. We said, okay, we were already doing it, and then we just became passionate about being part of the solution, not part of the problem. And it was recently that I heard the latest statistic that 50% of 12-year-old boys are watching pornography today.
Yeah.
12-year-olds. So it's a little bit of background.
Unbelievable.
I think it's just helpful to know.
Well, and it's being served. So obviously we're talking about this search engine tool, which is nothing to say of what happens if you're on, YouTube or ads or social media, where that stuff is just being pushed to them. They don't even have to search for it. It's literally being just served up.
Yeah.
But to your point, anything that can be done, and yes, I understand where you're coming from, is more libertarian on the subject. But when you think about, where does it ultimately end? It's a great thing to try to just put the kibosh on and just not even give access. And then people can choose, right? They can choose, but right. I'm a fan of Ricketts' decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I never would have known if he hadn't brought that up.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how it fits into the business model of some of the big tech companies, but none of them seem to be concerned about this at all.
No.
And so I don't know if they're profiting from it, or maybe they just get so much search traffic comes from it, so they're just happy to look the other way. I'm with you. I am certain that so much of what happens there is not by consent, or regretted later, and now you're stuck with this out on the internet forever.
Or you
And-
consented going in and they changed the rules during the middle of what was going on and you didn't have the power to say no at that point. It's another common story.
Yeah. Well, and I know there's been some effort in states like Indiana to try to put an end to some of the revenge porn that comes out there. But so it's a big problem. And I don't think any other nobody else in this space seems to be paying any attention to it.
And now you have AI generated images and adult relationships in that space. So to your point on why this flourishes here, pornography has led the innovations in technology. I talked to a CEO who was part of Blockbuster in the early days, and he laughed. He chuckled as I was giving some of these data points. He was like, oh yeah, pornography led the VHS industry as well. And then it became mainstream. And it really does lead. I mean, when you think about DuckDuckGo's early advertisements into late night talk sports radio was a woman in a husky voice saying, what are you searching for late at night? You don't want to tell us? We don't want to know. Search privately with DuckDuckGo.
Oh my
word.
word.
Early adopters are pornography users who don't want to be caught searching for that. So they want a private search engine. And then they eventually just stick around. But that was their early adopter strategy.
That's good to know.
I've never used DuckDuckGo.
No, but I remember when they came out and I was like, oh, this is intriguing, right? They're private. I mean, it was very intriguing more from an ads perspective, which is actually another great thing to bring up because obviously we like our privacy and our liberty here too. But Freespoke also has I don't know how you describe it, but basically don't track you unless you opt in approach, I think. So I would love to hear more about that and why that transparency is important in your business model.
Yeah, so at Freespoke, your searches, if you're asking AI, if you're searching in our product, it's fully anonymous. We are unable to track that search query, that ask back to an individual. And we've designed that within our infrastructure. And that really does build off DuckDuckGo. So I don't want anybody out here listening to me feeling guilty. There's a lot of DuckDuckGo users. A lot of people in this audience, this Liberty audience, felt like it was a solution. And it is. You can use it for very positive ways and it does protect your privacy. That was just some of the early adopters' strategy. So what Freespoke is doing is providing that privacy and also not showing the pornography to combine that together. Eventually, we know people are going to want a personalized experience and we'll build more of that in. And so then if you say, hey, I want your new tool for my kids and I want to be able to track what my child is doing, we'll provide you with that. So that's kind of the opt-in. But we will never sell your data to advertisers. Any advertising we do is privacy oriented. So it can be anonymous person searching for a lawnmower, seeing a lawnmower ad. But it's not tailored to you and it's not tracking you.
I don't know if I've heard you said it or if I've read it somewhere, but you've talked about Freespoke being a tool that breaks through to empower people. And so what does that look like to you, like to a community when you talk about it empowers people?
Yeah, I think going a little philosophical and then stepping into the tangible real life. I love the John Stuart Mill quote that he who knows only one side of the case knows little of that. And I know we experience that in the day-to-day life, right? Like if one of your friends or family members is so worked up over something and they're angry, it's often because they're only seeing that one side. And it's really easy for that division to take hold and that anger and that frustration against the other side because you only see that one and you're so deep in it, you know the other side must be evil or must be crazy. But what I think is so helpful when you empower people to, hey, I can quickly, within under 60 seconds, get that full view. I don't agree with the other side, but I at least know a little bit more of where they're coming from, what they're grounded in. It breaks through, gives you the opportunity to think for yourself, not be controlled by whoever's feeding you that one side, which we know can be, a politician or a media outlet or Russia, who knows how to jump in and take advantage of this environment. So you're really empowered to think for yourself.
Yeah. So say someone's listening and they're going to hear this and now they're heading to their book club afterwards, or maybe their youth group, and they're hyped up about Freespoke. What's a fun, easy thing they can say to spread the word and make it their go-to?
I think the slogan would be find the truth, be free. And what I love about that is if you're a book club, like you love digging in and reading and understanding something. And if you can find the truth in that, then you're free of all of those shackles of somebody who could control you. But I am more personally excited if that in that small group, youth group side of things, because if you take that find the truth and you take it out of that lower T truth and trust and a process for truth, and you put a capital T truth on that, and you know that Jesus is the way and the truth and the light, and how much freedom and joy comes out of that truth. And you can empower people with a product that helps you find capital T truth and bring that freedom. Then that small group, that church, that youth group can go from like, yeah, we talk about these ideals, but there's a product out there that we can get behind to help bring this to our community and the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, you have all those other ancillary benefits too. So I just get excited about it. And I know that that's been an avenue of growth for you, is getting into church communities. I think you even mentioned trying to talk to local schools about it, right? Again, because for all the aforementioned benefits. So tell us a little bit. It's accessible. So obviously there's a number of ways you can access Freespoke. So people that are listening right now and they're like, okay, I'm curious, what would the user experience be like if someone's like, well, but I have my browsers, like how do I think about this? What would they need to do, or what would be the steps for them to explore this?
So the one best path is to just go to your app store in your phone and download Freespoke. And I hope you're listening to this. As you work through that onboarding, you can use Freespoke completely for free. And I want you guys to get that experience. So we're going to upsell you into premium and try to sell you all those great things about paying for premium. But in the fine print, you can opt out.
You got to make money.
I would love for you guys to say, I want to be a part of this, and I'll pay $40 a year to be a part of the solution. But I'd love for you to just download the app Freespoke in your app store and start playing with it. You can search for anything. People love the news feed. We do push notifications on any hot trending news, and then you quickly get that consensus overview and the perspective. So download the app. If you're sitting on your computer and you just want to type in freespoke.com, you can check it out there as well.
Awesome.
Well, I use the app. I like the alerts and the news feed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, at least, Freespoke is in on the trends with the kids these days, because I think I got a Travis Kelce notification. See, I know the football player. Why do I Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. I got one when they breaking news. I thought someone over at Freespoke headquarters said that is the most important thing I need to know today.
I happen to live in Kansas City, so there may be a little bit of bias showing through there. We can all acknowledge it, but you get the full story on Taylor and Travis.
I like them as a couple. Maybe that's my controversial opinion.
That's how you know they're not tracking you, because if they really were noticing, they would probably not serve you with that. No, they'd pick something else a lot more.
That is probably one pop culture moment I actually thought was cool. I'm not as much a Kansas City fan as you are, and I didn't cheer for them in the Super Bowl.
Talk about polarizing.
Yeah, exactly. Forget politics. We're talking NFL teams here. It's about to get ugly.
Well, they've won too many games. After a while, you're like, okay, give somebody else a chance. So, and there's no chance for my Colts. I think we're premiering with Daniel Jones on Sunday.
Yeah, forget about it.
Already benched our number 3 draft pick from a couple years ago.
This fits into Freespoke as well, because you want to see the overview. You want to see how both teams are covering the big game this weekend. You want to get perspectives, like, was his toe over the line or not? Are the refs biased or not? There's a very competing points of view here. And so you need one place to go to make sense of it.
Yes. And anybody who's like a real fan, I love that you brought that up, Kristen, because if we're being honest, what are we doing? We're looking that up right there in the moment. It's true. I've done it a million times. And we were chatting before we aired about our IndyCar driver, Stingray Rob, who we love and do work for. And I'm looking stuff up constantly because now that I've followed a lot of the races, I'm now getting served, a lot of things in my social media because they now know I'm kind of a fan. And so I've been following all the intrigue. And so I love that because for anybody that's an NFL, I mean, we're looking that stuff up constantly, right? What call, right? The reps, 100%. Was that flag
going to be
accurate?
Two perspectives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
you need that in racing now. We need
Yes.
NFL and racing, and there's a lot of racing drama.
Yep.
Because the season was over last weekend. This probably won't air until a couple months later, but the season was over this last weekend. So all the racers are jumping around. Contracts are over. Colton Herta went to F1. Will Power left Penske and went to Andretti. It's drama.
And anywhere there's drama, you're like, how do I cut through and actually know what's happening?
And actually know what's going on. That's right.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I know that before Freespoke, Freespoke, you spent some time in Venezuela.
I did.
I think I found that. I probably didn't find that on Freespoke, but I found that somewhere.
Maybe.
So talk about that. You were working on combating authoritarian regimes there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many, many years ago, Ronald Reagan started International Republican Institute and National Democratic Institute. So these are two not-for-profit institutes that spread democracy abroad. Now, they have been under attack recently. They've definitely seen major cuts as DOGE and this administration is saying, okay, where do we cut budget? Where do we make sure we're spending money effectively? So it's been interesting to watch how IRI and NDI have been influenced by that. I was actually meeting with them recently, but it's a good opportunity because I worked in Venezuela promoting democracy, and fast forward to 2025, that was, 2008, probably 2009. In 2025, Venezuela is no closer to democracy than they were when I was there. So, politically today, it's good to take a look at those programs and see the impact. But what we were doing back when I was there, the Venezuelan government knew that we were on the ground trying to promote democracy. So they had shut down our bank account. So I had to take thousands of dollars out of the bank in the United States and then take cash into Caracas. And then you go to the black market, which is how it just functioned, and you get those dollars converted into bolívares fuertes, the strong bolivar that Chavez had created at the time. And you're walking around with cash, paying partners to understand how to develop political parties and understand how to promote democracy and stand up for democracy in their communities and in their nation. It was just a very interesting situation. Venezuela operates under the same security as Cuba or Russia. So they would send us signals that they knew that we were there and what we were doing, and they didn't like it. I had my government, my ID checked in the northern part of Venezuela. And I think if he had found the cash that I was leveraging to execute our programs, I probably would have ended up in a Venezuelan jail. I'm very thankful that I'm here with you guys today. So it's an opportunity to see on the ground what happens when democracy does not thrive and access to information is shut down. And society shuts down as a result. You'd sit down at a restaurant to try to order a meal, and the majority of the ingredients were out of stock. We all heard about toilet paper shortages at some point in Venezuela. So it's a powerful message of what happens once you start letting go of those ideals that we were built upon, those debate of ideas and access to information.
That sounds like some super spy stuff, which has just elevated Kristen, in my opinion, there. That's like,
I know
she was doing like espionage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Picturing the trench coat.
The trench coat and that, what was that show you liked with the girl spy on USA? You were a big fan of.
Oh, yeah. I forget the name of that. That was a great show.
Yes. You're talking, they probably made that show after Kristen. That's really cool.
I watched The Diplomat recently, which is having its season 3 coming soon. And she talks about how democracy promotion type programs are the soft power of the CIA. So it really is what the government has historically tried to do to help societies move in the right direction. So further action isn't needed.
And then from there, is it after that when you worked on the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee?
Yeah, I had worked on the Hill for a bit before and then got that on the ground experience in Spain and in Venezuela, and then came back to lead that Western Hemisphere subcommittee on the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Lots of interesting personalities involved in those affairs. Yes. And so I love the learning of this. And then obviously now working so closely with Todd Ricketts on this, I'm just curious, how did that, if you're able to share, how did that connection come together? Because you guys are such a powerhouse, and I just get really excited about the vision and the leadership that's behind this, because it takes a lot to try to take this on. And I'm just excited, and I applaud you, but I'd love to hear how that came together.
Yeah. So I had been in Washington, D.C. for many years, and I had the opportunity to go out to Wisconsin and work on Governor Walker's presidential campaign back in 2015, leading into the 2016 cycle. And amazing
the short-lived 90-day effort that I was involved in as well.
Very short-lived campaign, generally. And Todd Ricketts worked on that campaign as well. And so when, unfortunately, Governor Walker didn't make it into the presidency, Todd said, we're passionate about policy. And Kristen, you've worked on policy for a long time, so we'd love to see what we could build together. So I'd love to give a shout out to Todd's wife, Sylvie, had started the Policy Circle. People should know about this as well. Basically like a book club that women get together, but instead of reading a book, you read a policy brief, the Policy Circle.
Wow.
And what we find is that when women become engaged and feel a little bit more knowledgeable in that space, they are more willing to step up, maybe run for office, or at least reach out to their officials and advocate for what's important to them. So I was working with her in the Policy Circle. We launched a small media company. You guys could check out Paycheck Talk. Tom and I launched that in 2018. It's basically, it's economic news in layman's terms with a humorous twist. So we say that it's like the Wall Street Journal sitting on the back porch drinking buds with the guys. So very accessible Wall Street Journal. We had launched that in 2018. And really, I give all credit to Todd for bringing Freespoke into existence, because in 2019, late 2018, he kept saying, I don't trust Google. I just don't trust it. I'm getting my information there. I can see where they're putting a thumb on the scale. I know I'm not alone. I know there's an audience out there. And he said the hypothesis is people will pay $60 a year to be the customer instead of the product. So we're not charging $60 a year yet, but that's really the hypothesis, is there are people out there who want that full information and understand if you're constantly being tracked around and fed ads and manipulated for your clicks, and if it's run by a group of people who just don't see that full perspective, it's not going to be a quality product, and people are willing to put a little skin in the game to have a better information source.
Yep. Well, and I'll go further and say more than you should. But these people, not only are we not aligned, but in the vast majority of what we're talking about, they are completely working against our ideals and our values. They're completely against things that we care about. And so when you think about this and you're thinking about it being free or convenient, and we talk about this so much with a lot of people that we're featuring on the show and the clients that we're helping with our Liberty Spenders efforts. And that is just that, again, we have to draw a line in the sand, and we have to be willing to say, this is important to me, not just because I'm going to talk about it and rail about it and complain about it to my friends or my church small group. But if there are visionary people that are putting money on the line and they're building these amazing products and alternatives, there's a number of people that we featured that we're working with, startups, tech companies. And when those things are out there and we have an opportunity to shed light on it and we have an opportunity to make them successful, we should. So again, it's why I'm just so excited, because when you think about, and we joke, we just overarching branch, our tech overlords, but there's just real things at stake, and we can make we can make a dent in it in a very affordable manner, and get everything that we still need and get all kinds of extra benefits too. So, I mean, obviously I'm an evangelist, but
I think it can be helpful.
You're all right.
I appreciate it. And I think it can be helpful to name a couple specifics. So if you take the Hunter Biden laptop situation, there was an effort to say this is Russian disinformation. We hear it percolating, but we are not going to show anything about it because we believe it to be Russian disinformation. In Freespoke, our mission is to show you all the perspectives. So even if it's like, this one is likely debunked, the administration is saying it's Russian disinformation, we believe you have the right to see that. You're still going to see the other side. Mainstream media is saying this isn't true, but you have that information. Fast forward to COVID, you have the opportunity in Freespoke to see the various perspectives. One side is saying you have to be vaccinated fully, immediately, or the world's going to end. And the other side is saying, let's look at the science in different ways and see that. And what's interesting is the truth that they tell has really shaped the life that we live. So when you allow that one-sided truth to take hold, it impacts how you go about in your community, what your kids are faced with, right? Like it really has an impact. So those are older situations, but most recently we saw the very devastating situation with the shooter in Minnesota recently at a Catholic church and school. The individual was a transgender individual. And it's widely documented that in Google Gemini results and in the results, they were suppressing anything naming that individual to be a transgender individual. They were just making sure that wasn't part of the story. And the problem is it is part of the story. So you can show content that's saying, hey, that part isn't important. Here's what's important. The right may not want to show things that make it look bad for gun control, right? Like there may be a desire on the right to suppress some information and desire on the left to suppress some information, which is why you have to have a product that's dedicated to showing both.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you touched on it before with the big T, truth. And that's what I think is so important because it's your solution isn't just to then go and say, oh, well, I'm just going to go and read right-leaning stuff. That's not the solution either. We want to be able to be critical thinkers. We want to be able to make these decisions and to be informed. And so you're 100% spot on. That's a great example.
And you trust that when it is true, it will shine through that chaos, right? You just have to give it a chance.
Well, I want to give you a chance here to pretend you're a few years ahead of the game. You're 5 years down the road. What's the next step? What's the big vision for Freespoke that you'd like to articulate?
Yeah, I'm a visionary. It can be a problem as a CEO. We can be visionary, so that's an easy one, and I'll hit on that. I think today, what would really drive our passion is that we see individuals saying, wow, this really solves a problem for me. It builds confidence in my life. If I lack trust, I know where to go. And so we really see that adoption individually, within groups, within communities, within small businesses and churches. And through us earning your trust in that regard, in the future, the division is gone. Nobody can pit two people against each other with partial truths because there's a platform that has taken hold and you're saying, I don't know, this is making me want to hate the other side. So I'm not going to fall for that. I'm going to go get both sides before I go down that path. So eventually we take over the world, but we got to build.
Yes. What was that show we all watched as kids with the mice that were taking over the world?
I don't think I watched that. I have no idea.
That was such a fun. How
That's
we going
me.
to take over
We're
the
scurrying
world?
around. Yeah.
Yes.
For good. We're being a force for good.
Yeah.
It is.
We're being a force for good.
Yeah. Well, that may lead a little bit into the lightning round answers. Our first question we always ask everyone in the lightning round is when you're coming to the end, hopefully many, many years from now, what would have to happen for you to look back and say, I have created a legacy that makes me feel like a success?
For me, that would be the common acceptance or any man on the street is going to answer a question specifically. And so that would be, what happens when you have a difference of opinion? Does that drive division? And everybody would say, no, it drives curiosity. That would be success, that we move out of this division and fighting because we have this tool. And so it's like, oh yeah, I saw that division, so I got curious. And so I used this tool and now I'm informed and I'm no longer angry.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful, Kristen.
I'm writing
I think we're close.
down.
I see a path.
Yeah. All right. Now
Get
for
curious.
something complete. Yeah.
I love that.
I do
Well,
like
right.
that.
Well, that's the
Ted Lasso. You went to
Yeah.
Ted Lasso.
I know.
I totally
be curious.
not judgmental. That's what his is.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What about 90 seconds on any topic that's been interesting you lately? Maybe something that's taking you down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull on 2 points together for this. The first one kind of right sizes my focus. I want to share a quote that I heard recently. We seek validation from a world that crucified a perfect man.
Well,
And I think if you just sit with that for a second and you think about how you go into the world and you show up and what you're trying to do, if you're seeking validation from this world, they crucified a perfect man. They're not the people for you to seek validation from. So that's just super helpful. And then it feeds into the second insight that I have been focused on right now. This comes from Dan Martell, an entrepreneur. And he says, you either spiral up or you spiral down. And I always get a strong reaction to that, which I think is great. And when people say, well, I'm just kind of treading water. The reality is, if you're not doing something to where you're better today than you were yesterday, you're spiraling down. And you may not feel it yet. It may take something to kind of knock you off. But if we can move into a space where you're taking every day to grow and spiral up, I think we have a beautiful world ahead of us.
I know.
Don't even say anything after that.
I know. Now I feel like now we're down. The next invitation is for a 90-second gratuitous pitch for Freespoke. So
Okay, it all comes together. It's all.
Yeah. So what's this one? Just say it like somebody hasn't listened to anything else on the show. What's something? What would they need to know? 60, 90 seconds about Freespoke. What do you do? How to find you? That sort of thing.
Okay. So Freespoke is your tool. When you are questioning if you understand the situation or have the full truth, go to Freespoke, ask your question, and you will be grounded in a full truth response with multiple perspectives, with a timeline feature, with insights from podcasts. Ask your question in Freespoke. The key is that Freespoke not only offers you that peace of mind and the confidence of full understanding of the world around you, it's actually empowering you to make that the future. So ask your question in Freespoke, share with your community that full understanding of truth, and you're going to spread that peace and confidence to be the status quo.
Love it.
That's a good pitch. We may need to clip that one out. Let's clip that one out. That's got to get somewhere. That was great. I'm so happy that you joined us. For people who want to get in touch with Kristen, you want to hit her up on Instagram at Kristin M. Jacks. But you can also check out Freespoke at www.freespoke.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you tuning in, we appreciate your time. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything more in the future. Thanks a lot, and until next time.